Welcome to Lecture 8, Life Rhythms. Rhythms of wakefulness and sleep. When we look at these rhythms and cycles, we want to look at two of them. One is the circannual rhythm. This is an internal calendar that prepares the species for annual season changes. Now, as humans, we're really not affected by the circannual changes, but we are seriously affected by our circadian rhythms. These are the internal rhythms that last about a day, like the rhythms of wakefulness and sleep. In humans, circadian rhythms has a self-generated duration of about 24.2 hours. In setting and resetting the biological clock, we'll look at one of the conditions called a Zeitgeber. Zeitgeber is a stimulus that is necessary for setting or resetting a circadian rhythm. And light is our dominant Zeitgeber for land animals. An example of this is jet lag. Jet lag is a disruption of our biological rhythms due to crossing time zones. Recent studies have indicated that repeated adjustments of the circadian rhythm can increase levels of cortisol, which can damage the hippocampus and cause memory losses. Night shift workers also often have difficulty adjusting their wake-sleep cycle, as in waking up groggy, not sleeping well during the day. Working under lights comparable to noonday may help shift circadian rhythms. And I have a little video we're not going to see. The mechanisms of the biological clock. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, this also known as the SCN, is a nucleus located above the optic chiasm. That's where the optic nerve from the left eye and the right eye cross in your brain. This is the suprachiasmatic nucleus. The suprachiasmatic nucleus controls the rhythms for sleep and for temperature. The neurons in this SNC generate impulses that follow a circadian rhythm. One of the chemicals in our bodies that helps control our circadian rhythm is melatonin. Melatonin is a chemical released by the pineal gland, and it's mainly at night, which increases sleepiness. Melatonin release usually starts 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. Melatonin stimulates receptors in the suprachiasmatic nucleus to reset the biological clock. We're looking at the stages of sleep. There's all sorts of sleep and other interruptions of consciousness. We can, in the sleep studies, hook somebody up to an EEG, or the electroencephalograph, to record gross electrical potentials in an area of the brain through electrodes attached to the scalp. The polysomnograph, which you see here this lady's hooked up to, is a combination of EEG and also eye movement sensors. In stages of sleep, in general, there's 4 stages of sleep. The paradoxical sleep is a sleep stage discovered in cats, in which the brain is very active, but muscles are completely relaxed. In us, we look at this as the rapid eye movement sleep. This is a period of sleep characterized by repeated eye movements, fast, low voltage brain waves, plus breathing and heart rates similar to stage 1 sleep. Paradoxical sleep is synonymous with REM sleep, except that many animal species lack the eye movements. Non-REM sleep are the stages of sleep that other than REM, which is why we call it non-REM. When people fall asleep, they enter stage 1, followed by stage 2, then 3, then 4, in that order. And from entering sleep to going through stage 4 is 60 to 90 minutes after going to sleep. Then they cycle back up, stages 3, stages 2, and then back into REM and go back through there. And there's two types of effects. There's a hypnagogic effect and a hypnopopic effect. A hypnagogic effect is the the time when you're just about ready to fall asleep, and the sounds in the house as you get incorporated into the little dreams you're having. In the hypnopopic effect, it's you're just about to wake up and those sounds around you get incorporated into your dream. After entering REM sleep, the sleep cycle sequence repeats with each complete cycle lasting approximately 90 minutes. REM sleep is associated with dreaming, but dreams can also happen in non-REM. REM sleep depends on both serotonin and acetylcholine activity for its onset and continuation. Stimulation of acetylcholine synapses quickly moves a sleeper into REM, and serotonin interrupts or shortens the REM sleep. And we do have lots of sleep disorders. One sleep disorder we have is insomnia. And there's actually three types of insomnia. There is sleep insomnia where somebody's having difficulty getting to sleep. There's insomnia where somebody gets to sleep just fine, but then they wake up in the middle of the night and they can't get back to sleep for quite a long time. And then there's terminal insomnia, where somebody gets to sleep just fine and they stay asleep but not long enough. They wake up way too early. There's sleep apnea, and this is the inability to breathe during sleep. Genetics, hormones, and obesity are all causes of this disorder. And here we have a picture of somebody sleeping with a CPAP machine to actually force the oxygen into them. There is narcolepsy, and this is a disorder characterized by frequent unexpected periods of sleep during the day. And the symptoms could include gradual or sudden attacks of sleepiness. It's occasionally catalepsy, so the muscles go weak even while awake. Sleep paralysis, the inability to move while asleep, and the hypnagogic hallucinations, which is dreamlike experiences occurring during the onset of sleep. Narcolepsy is currently treated with a stimulant drugs such as methylphenidate, otherwise known as Ritalin. And there is restless leg syndrome. This is a periodic limb movement disorder. It's repeated involuntary movements of the legs and arms that can actually keep people awake or cause insomnia. Limb movements occur mostly during non-REM sleep, and this disorder is often treated with tranquilizers. REM behavior disorder is a disorder where people move around vigorously during their REM periods and apparently act out their dream. I have a video here of restless leg, but we're not going to see it. Night terrors. Night terrors are actually terrifying, which is why we call them night terrors. It's an abrupt, anxious awakening from a non-REM sleep. And this disorder is much more common in children than adults, where they wake up as if from a nightmare, but there's no imagery involved in the nightmare, it's just the emotion. Typically, individuals outgrow this. There is sleep talking and sleepwalking. And sleep talking may occur in either REM or non-REM sleep. It is common and it is typically harmless. Sleepwalking, this typically occurs during stage 3 or stage 4 early in the night and is much more common in children than it is in adults. When we get to why we sleep, why we have dreams, why we have REM, we know that the body needs sleep. The body, especially the brain, requires sleep to repair itself after exertions of the day. The neurotransmitter GABA builds up during sleep deprivation and impairs concentration. Caffeine increases arousal by blocking receptors for andosine and a chemical that accumulates, which is a chemical that accumulates during wakefulness and increases drowsiness. Many studies indicate that sleep is a time when memories are actually strengthened. Functions of REM sleep. Species with the most total REM sleep also have species with the most total sleep have the highest percentage of REM sleep. Human infants spend more time in REM sleep and get more total sleep than adults. Adults who get the most sleep have the most REM sleep, and adults who get the least sleep have the least amount of REM sleep, and that just kind of makes sense. REM sleep deprivation leads to an increase at attempts at REM sleep. REM sleep has been implicated in memory storage and as a way of getting oxygen to the corneas. Looking at some biological perspectives on dreaming. The activation synthesis hypothesis. During sleep, many brain regions become activated, so the brain creates a story to make sense of all this activity. This temporal regulation, we look at homeostasis and allostasis. Homeostasis is a biological process that keeps certain body variables within a fixed rate. For example, your body temperature. The set point is the level at which homeostasis process maintains that variable. Negative feedback is a process that reduces discrepancies from the set point. And allostasis is this dynamic and adaptive change in the body's set points in response to changes in life or changes in the environment. So homeostasis is keeping the body at a particular set point, and allostasis is actually changing that set point. We look at controlling the body temperature. One of the big things here is called the basal metabolism. And the basal metabolism is energy used to maintain constant body temperature at rest. You use about 2/3 of your energy simply to maintain your basal metabolism. The advantage of a constant high body temperature. Mammals maintain a body temperature of 98 degrees because maintaining a high body temperature keeps the animal ready for rapid movement even in cold temperatures. Mammals may have developed even higher body temperatures, except that proteins become unstable at temperatures above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Reproductive cells require a somewhat cooler temperature than other body cells. And we have some other aspects that fit within this. For example, thirst. The mechanisms of water regulation. When your body needs water, the posterior pituitary gland releases a chemical known as vasopressin, also known as an antidiuretic hormone, which enables the kidneys to reabsorb water and to secrete highly concentrated urine. There are two general types of thirst. One is osmotic thirst. And the osmotic thirst occurs when certain neurons detect their own loss of water. This loss of water happens when solute concentrations in the extracellular fluid are higher than the concentration of the internal fluid, causing water to be drawn from the intracellular compartments and to dilute the solutions in the extracellular fluid. The body monitors swallowing and detects water contents of the stomach and intestines. Those messages suppress thirst long before the ingested water could reach the brain. So when the brains know that there's more water the brain cells know there's more water outside of them than there is inside of them, the brain says, hey, you're thirsty, and the body monitors how much water you're actually taking in. The hypovolemic thirst and the sodium-specific hunger. When you lose a significant amount of body fluid by bleeding, diarrhea, or sweating, your body will release hormones that constrict blood vessels. When the blood volume decreases, kidneys release a hormone called renin, and this hormone constricts the blood vessels in order to reverse this loss of blood volume. Hypovolemic thirst, this is thirst based on low volume in your body. During hypovolemic thirst, the body needs to replenish both water and also the solutes such as salt. You will find on your course the basal metabolism calculator up in the document sharing. Give that a look and fill in the numbers. This is for your information. Specific sodium cravings due to bleeding or excessive sweating are caused by a release of a hormone which causes the kidneys, the salivatory glands, and the sweat glands to conserve sodium and excrete more watery fluids than usual. Properties of the taste system are changed such that they begin reacting to salt in a nearly the same way they would of sugar. We also look at hunger. How the digestive system influences food selection. Digestion begins in the mouth, where food is broken down by enzymes in the saliva. Food then travels the esophagus to the stomach, where the hydrochloric acid and the enzymes digest these proteins around the sphincter muscle located between the stomach and the intestine, allows the food to periodically enter the intestines. Food then enters the small intestines, which is the main site for nutrient absorption into the bloodstream. These digested nutrients are carried by the blood cells throughout the body, which some of the nutrients are stored in are used and the rest are stored as excess. The large intestine absorbs water and minerals and lubricates the remaining materials for excretion. Many mammals lose their ability to metabolize lactose, that's the sugar that's found in milk, after infancy due to a decreased level in intestinal enzymes lactase. Worldwide, most adult humans cannot consume large amounts of milk products. Short and long-term regulation of feeding. Stomach and intestines. Usually, we end the meal before the food actually reaches our blood. Satiety signals are therefore based on other aspects of eating, such as stomach distension. The vagus nerve, the cranial nerve X, carries information to the brain regarding the stretching of the stomach walls, providing a major basis for satiety. The splenic nerve conveys information about the nutrients contained in the stomach, carrying impulses back and forth from the spinal cord to the digestive organs. The duodenum is a part of the small intestine adjoining the stomach. Eaters become satiated when either the stomach or the duodenum becomes distended. The duodenum also releases a hormone to cause satiety. When we look at obesity and other eating disorders, dieting alone is rarely effective. Changing lifestyles includes increasing exercise and decreasing eating is most effective. Anorexia nervosa is a disorder characterized by eating much less than one needs. Anorexics become very thin and sometimes die. This disorder is not due to a loss of appetite, but to a fear of becoming fat or losing self-control. The cause of this disorders are poorly understood. Bulimia nervosa is a condition in which people alternate between dieting and overeating. Some individuals with this disorder will force vomiting after meals. People with bulimia have lower than normal levels of CCK, the increased release of other neurotransmitters and hormones, and alterations in several other hormones and transmitters regulate that eating. Bulimia shares many similarities with drug addiction. In our next lecture, we're going to be looking at sex and hormones.